but I shall certainly be working with colleagues to make sure that Langholm is on the radar, because there is money available. You know, the Scottish Government has like town centre action plan money and things like that, but it's up to councils to bid for that money. And Dumfries and Galloway has bid for that money before, and it's gone to Dumfries and Stranraer. And there are great needs in those areas as well. But that's why it's really important to have a vehicle that lobbies for Langholm as a whole, and I'll certainly give it my full
Joan,
support.
another question. We're trying to be really quick here. Thank you very much for that. The roads around here would be an embarrassment to a third world country. What are you going to do about the potholes? Go on, very quickly. Potholes.
Most of the roads are local authority roads. The SNP manifesto for the council promoted a different way to fix the potholes, so that you put more money to fixing them in the first place as opposed to patching them up and then they appear again. I'm confident that the new coalition and at the council level will take that forward.
David, potholes, they are a bit awful, aren't they? Your tyres are shredded.
It's shocking, and because local people, you know, in terms of what they pay in relation to council tax, in terms of what they think council should be doing, put roads, you know, right at the top of the priorities the council don't. I look forward to seeing this new Labour SNP council dealing with the potholes, and Joan will be joining councillors and others, no doubt, to fill them in, because it's about time somebody did.
Okay, potholes, Douglas. We've got another question here about the potholes.
Well, again,
obviously a burning issue.
Another question about holes. You know, I mean, and it's good to know that David's up for filling potholes in as well. I mean, I think it's actually no joke. You know, they do need to be filled in. There are some pretty terrible ones around here, and the council just needs to get on and do it. And I'm absolutely sure they will. But on the subject of roads, actually, things like the A7, Langholm needs to be on these signs. It's not just about the holes; it's about how the roads work for us.
And John,
I'd like to link the issue of potholes with Brexit, if I may.
This is a short answer we're hoping to get.
The Treasury estimates that if we have a hard Brexit, it could result in UK borrowing going up by £200 billion a year. That's an awful lot of money that could be spent repairing roads and on infrastructure in the UK. Now we would spend £100 billion a year in the next Parliament, but can you imagine the amount of money that we could have to improve the infrastructure of this whole country if we weren't involved in this insane project to pull out of the EU that's going to cost tens of billions of pounds.
I've got two more questions I'd just like to get in, and one is Lewis Bell. And Lewis, are you here tonight, or did you pop a question in? You're there, right. Age 16, Lewis is asking, there is very little opportunity for employment in the local area. We're back to jobs again, aren't we? How could you improve this for the upcoming generations? John, kick us off here. A very good question, Lewis. Are you planning to stay in Langholm, do you think?
I don't think so.
You think so?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? What can you do to make people like Lewis stay? There's nothing for him here.
So, you look like a fit young chap. I'll introduce you to mountain biking. I think you should set up your own mountain bike leadership course down here, take people out in the countryside here and lead them via mountain biking. So
Douglas?
No, it's an excellent question. I think it's partly to do with education, is that people go and they don't come back, and I think they need a reason to come back, and if the town was flourishing, they would come back because there would be jobs here. And just one small thought, Reading Taylor is a site that is lying empty, very sadly. I just wonder if something could be done with a site like that, maybe like an educational campus or something like that, you know, that would allow people to finish their education or draw people here, young people, that kind of thing, for jobs and so on.
David?
I think certainly the big idea, which is set out in the Conservative Manifesto, is the Borderlands growth deal. Those deals elsewhere in Scotland and other parts of the UK have led to making skills and employability a real focus, and improving skills, improving economic growth and improving infrastructure. And what that recognises is that Carlisle is the centre of the economy of the south of Scotland, and that we need to work cross-border to create that area of economic growth, to create jobs.
Are currently having job cuts just now. The university in Carlisle is struggling, and it's going to affect Langholm massively. That's the closest university.
But doesn't that demonstrate the fact that we are actually in the same economic area, and we need to work together?
Massively.
Joan?
Well, the lady makes a really
How would you persuade Lewis to stay here? What would you do to give them prospects of a job?
The lady makes a really important point about universities. I mean, like I chaired the European Committee of the Scottish Parliament, and universities have been extremely concerned about Brexit and do not feel that their needs are being prioritised by the UK government. They feel they're being completely sidelined, and universities drive economic growth in cities, and if you want a regional deal, a university is at the centre of that. So you raise a very important point. One of the things that the Scottish Government is doing is setting up a South of Scotland enterprise vehicle, modelled in the same way as a Highlands and Islands enterprise vehicle. So it doesn't just look at big companies and supporting big companies, it supports community development and economic development in smaller companies as well. So that's something that we're taking forward, which should be more appropriate for business in this area, and the kind of opportunities that Lewis is looking to be able to take advantage of as a young person living here.
Lewis, we hope you come back to the Common Riding if you don't get a job here. You must do that every year, promise? Exactly. Right, final question to our panellists, and it's quite a good one. Someone's put in, tell me just why I should vote for you. Okay, so here's your chance. Would you like to start off, John?
I'd like to have 1-2 minutes on this, yeah? One of the reasons why I'm involved in politics at all these days is because I've become increasingly dismayed at the way the division that I've seen emerge in politics in recent years and within society. And politics is taking us down really quite a different route, and a route that I think is regressive and actually quite dangerous. The way politics is tending to work these days is a politician comes along, puts himself on a platform and says, look, listen people, I know that you're hurting, I know that things aren't great, your wages are going down, there's no jobs in the town, it feels like you're going backwards, your living standards are regressing, but I've got the answer and it's really simple. There is a malign foreign presence amongst us, or trying to get amongst us, and all we have to do is eliminate this malign foreign thing, and that's the key. That's the key to making progress. But here's the thing, whether that malign foreign presence is framed as being the European Union, or migrants, or Tories, or Westminster, or Mexicans, or Muslims, whatever it is, politicians making those arguments are always preying on the worst aspects of human nature, and they're being a liberal. So one of the reasons I'm in politics is actually to stand up and say, look, we can have a more open, liberal approach. The Western liberal consensus still stands, let's maintain it. Let's look at people like Emmanuel Macron in France,